later available in our official CCRI YouTube channel. So if any of you would like to revisit this workshop at any future point, you will, of course, will be able to do so. So as we go forward, I would like to give the floor to Andrea Corigi, which from the CCRI Coordination and Support Office as well, which will be stressing the need for circular investment, a little bit what is the origin of this workshop, how we came up with this idea, and why we're bringing together all the different pictures that we have with us today. So please, Andrea, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Antonio. I hope you can hear me and
Perfectly,
also see me. First of all, thanks for joining this workshop. And yeah, let me really, in a couple of minutes, explain the rationale of this work, why we consider this. Well, the starting point, I would say, is the nature of the CCRI. The nature of the CCRI is supporting project promoters with different facility, with different services to increase the maturity of a project, a very clear project on circular economy. How we do this: knowledge, exchange opportunity, exchange and opportunity, and proper support, including advisory. That's what we can see. You can see in the Compass webpage that now we have. We see all the typology of services. If we want a circular economy, city regional relevant, local and regional project promoter also from the private sector are relevant, but we have to address one point that is, in my opinion, well explained in the European Investment Bank framework, environmental framework. Is from, if I'm not wrong, November 2022, but is still valid in my opinion. And they state one point, I quote it: current levels of investment in environment are insufficient to meet policy objective and target. That's the starting point, in my opinion. How, from the CCRI support scheme, we can help on this? We have to understand first the several market failures, investment barriers that we have to face. And these examples are the issue related to the fragmentation of the regulation, market size and structure, market size, the structure of a project, lack of budgetary resources, weak planning in preparation capacity, limited access to finance. And that's why, to try to address these market failures and investment barriers, we focus, especially last year, but also still this year, to present as much as possible advisory opportunity, technical assistance opportunity in the CCRI, because the advisory facility related to this initiative, starting with European Investment Bank Circular City Center, the project development assistance, we have 6 ongoing, and including also, at least for circular economy, an initiative from DG Environment, which is called Green Assist. Well, this advisory facility can really help to address this market failure, the investment barrier, improve the maturity of the project, but then for what? For opening the door to investment in sustainable finance. That's going to be what we are trying to facilitate. So we started to focus on advisory, and then to see advisory for what, and then having a focus today on investment. It's not actually the first time that we really try to having the voices of investor, investment facility from different perspective. We tested a mini experiment before this workshop, this webinar, in the workshop that for those that participate in person in November in Brussels last year. We try in a very specific area, the thematic working group on bioeconomy, to present to policymaker, city, regions, utility, the offer that this initiative can provide internal advisory services, again, Circular City Center, project development assistance, green assist, etc. And also, for the first time, some investment opportunity from the investment bank, European Investment Bank, private banks, venture capital. And we saw that this information was useful. So the idea, and that's what I want the credit to Antonio, just to say, okay, let's do it for everyone, not only for bioeconomy. So for all the CCRI community, but also for the bioeconomy. That's exactly the focus of this area and the focus of this workshop today. So that's a little bit as an intro. Therefore, the agenda is structured exactly like this. apart from this opening and rationale explained, we really have 4 investor pitches, starting from the European Investment Bank, but also the EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development in a certain part of Europe. Clara then will present a quite, in my opinion, interesting perspective, sort of venture capital, that let's see also what is happening there on the circular bioeconomy, so specific sector. Last but not least, also Andrea from Cariplo factory to see also from the innovation and also, of course, investment point of view, what Andrea can tell us. Then we have time for question and answer, and then we close. So let's use really this time, and for do so, I shut up. I think I use my time, and Antonio, back to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Andrea, as usual, for your insights. And yeah, we're going to be starting, as Andrea very well said, with investor pitches. And first off, we have the European Investment Bank. And here, Jonas Bistron, always a pleasure to have him back in our events. So Jonas, the floor is yours, and happy to hear what you have to say from the EIB side.
Thank you very much, Antonio and Andrea, for the introduction, and good morning, everyone. I am representing European Investment Bank, and we can take the next slide and the next one as well. And this is the EU's long-term lending arm, and we are the largest multilateral lender and borrower of funds that we on-lend in the world. And last year, 24, we provided almost 90 billion in financing, of which a large share, 57%, was for projects with climate and environmental sustainability impact, which reflects that we are also the climate bank. In circularity, we provided in the last 5 years almost 5 billion euro of financing in 6 different sectors, and to more than 150 projects. So on average, 1 billion per year to 30 projects, which is a lot when it comes to circular economy financing. But as you can see, a very small share of our total financing. So like Andrea said, current levels of investment are insufficient. And from EIB side, we are standing very ready and very willing to do more. Next slide, please. And that we do with a range of financing instruments that reflect that the projects we see and the promoters we work with vary from very early stage, small promoters with a very different risk profile, to large corporates or municipalities that need different kind of financing. And in brief, we have a number of direct financing instruments where we sign a contract with the promoter and the borrower. And for larger projects, we have what we call an investment loan, which is a direct loan to usually a larger kind of investment facility, and where we need to see documentation and appraise that project in detail before a contract is signed. We also have what we call framework loan.
I think, Jonas, you muted yourself not on purpose. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Don't worry.
So framework loan. So that is, for example, when we work with cities, we can offer a credit line, a large amount of money to finance many different projects during up to a 5-year period. And that can then cover many different sectors, many different projects, but also circular projects. And the benefit compared to the investment loan is that all these projects do not have to be identified upfront at the appraisal stage and before the finance contract is signed. For projects that are kind of based on a company, we have a project company, what we call then project finance. Then we have non-recourse financing directly to the project company, and then much more focus on ensuring that all the contracts, all the revenue streams, feedstock, offtake, etc., is in full and convincing order. And for this kind of direct loans, usually we look at larger projects, minimum 50 million euro in investment cost, but a bit of flexibility, and we can offer up to 50% of the total project cost. For wide sectors, project types, CapEx, research development, investment, etc. When it comes to early stage circular projects, maybe a new technology, a new circular business model, or an early stage company, we offer what we call venture debt, which is a quasi-equity type of financing with slightly higher returns in kind of exchange for the risk we take. And there the project cost is a bit less, up usually minimum 30 million euro, but again, for really interesting, impactful projects, there is some flexibility there. And the same 50% investment cost limit. Then we work with intermediaries, with other banks, where we then lend a credit line. The bank can on-lend. They are able then to deal with smaller projects directly, something we do, as I said, with the framework loans, also smaller projects. But here the local bank can then, with smaller project promoters, smaller projects, very well engage. And ideally we are doing that through and with thematic windows, for example, a particular focus on circular economy. And there is also a guarantee feature in that. Next slide, please. So an ideal project for EIB, it would of course be ready for implementation. And if it is not, we also offer advisory to help the promoter mature the project. And for those projects we look at, they should ideally have credible and convincing documentation for the project. And it should demonstrate that there is a solid business case, clarity on inputs, feedstock, market demands, etc., offtake and revenue streams, but also that the project is technically feasible, demonstrated well, tested, financially viable, and also have economic impacts beyond the financial social impacts. And in particular for project financing, but also for other projects, some clarity on legal aspects, commercial documentation can help. And also clarity on the roles and the responsibilities of those involved, the promoters, other stakeholders, and agreements that shows that project can go from preparation into implementation and then operation. And we also have what we call safeguards, environmental social safeguards and guidance, and procurement guidance that need to be adhered to. And of course, a circular project, if you want to finance it, need to meet the circular criteria that we have established. And we have a guide on our webpage for that with a link there. And if the project also have demonstration and or replication potential, so an impact beyond the project we finance, even better. Then, as I said, next slide, please. If the project is not fully mature, we also have an opportunity to help the promoter develop the project. And we do that for circular projects in cities, in regions, through our Circular City Center, also known as C3. And then we have two different programs. The first, Circular City Advisory, comprise 4 workshops over 4 to 6 months with a bit of preparatory work and homework in between the sessions. And then we work from EIB with a group of consultants together with the team in a city, either in the first program to develop a strategy, or in the second to dive a bit deeper in a sector identified in the strategy in order to develop a project pipeline that either EIB or the Commission or a commercial bank later can finance. We also have an opportunity in the third program to deep dive a bit in one particular project to make it more circular or mature and ready for financing. For larger projects, minimum 20 million euro, we also offer what we call Circular Project Advisory. And that is a tailored support that aims to help a promoter develop a project either with regard to its circular aspects or to fill gaps in the project documentation to take it to a point where it's mature enough to approach a provider of financing and therefore go into the implementation stage. And that is a much more extensive advisory, up to 100, potentially even more person days of consultancy. And it's the same consultants that we work with in other aspects of C3. So it's a very quick process to actually mobilize them and start to work with the promoter. And important to note is both these programs are free of charge since they are supported from DDRTD, the European Commission, financially. And they're also to tell part of the Circular Cities and Regions initiative, which I think we can see on the background of Antonio, for example, the main framework within which many of these initiatives are implemented. And then on the last slide, a couple of links where you can both find more information about the EIB financing products and conditions for using those. And you have an email address to address those in EIB on the banking side that can help you and discuss further, but also information about the C3 and a simple email address to reach us in the C3 team. So with that, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Jonas, for the very clear roadmap for the support, not only to those projects that are mature, but also to those that are still not that mature, which I'm sure will be very much helpful for the participants that we have here. And don't worry that all the links that you're seeing in the screen, since we're going to be sharing the slides with you afterwards, you're going to have them at your disposal in the later stage. So up next, from the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, we have Ella Yilmaz. And if we have any city or region from in the room here from Eastern European city or region, I'm sure this presentation will be particularly interesting for you. So please, Ella, the floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm representing EBRD. So I'm going to start with introduction about EBRD, who we are, to my presentation. We are a multilateral development bank established in 1991 with the mandate to support transition to market economies. We are owned by 72 countries as well as EU and also the EIB, our shareholders. We are focusing on private sector. We have a AAA rating and 30 billion capital base. In the map, you see the region we are covering for our investments. Currently, we are financing projects in this 36 countries. So it spans from Central Eastern Europe to Southeast Europe, Balkans, Central Asia, CEMET region, and recently our board also approved expansion to Sub-Saharan Africa. So we adhere to 3 principles in our investments: South banking, transition impact, and environmental sustainability are our 3 principles which we seek in every project. Our key results in 2023, so we have signed more than 450 projects with 13 billion financing. And with our commitment to green finance, 50% of this finance went to green projects. If we go to, so we have different types of tools to support our clients. We operate on a commercial basis with wide range of clients, products, currencies, and tenors. We also support our clients from development phase to develop structure bankable green projects. So our general type of instruments start with loans. So we provide loans with, in general, minimum from 3 million and with maturities up to 15 years. In infrastructure projects, the maturity may go up to 20 years. We subscribe to bonds, so this increase also this also includes green bonds or very new very favorable instrument sustainability-linked bonds recently. So we also provide finance to this type of instruments. We provide equity and quasi-equity. It could be direct equity by EBRD, or it could be a EBRD supported private equity or venture capital fund, as well as a donor supported equity fund. We also have guarantee schemes for risk sharing and supporting promoting trade in our region. We said we are private sector focused, but we also support projects with governments, municipalities, and utility companies, public-private partnership type of projects. For smaller projects, because I said in general the loan size for direct investments are around 3 million minimum. For smaller projects and for SMEs, we work with our partner banks to finance them via our financial intermediary programs. In terms of technology readiness level, so in general, we support projects with 7 or 8 or above technology readiness level. In some cases, so we assess case by case basis, we can support the projects below. Yeah, next slide, please. When it comes to circular economy investments, we have been providing finance to circular economy from the very beginning of our energy efficiency and resource efficiency finance. But since 2016, so we have started to track it separately. And you see the investments from 2016 to until the end of last year. We have supported so far more than 200 projects for circular investments with 2 billion cumulative financing. In an average year, we support around 200 or 250 million projects for circular economy finance. In terms of the sectors, so we wanted to also share with you some analysis about what type of sectors and what type of investments are these circular economy investments. Majority of our investments are going to municipal infrastructure or manufacturing and services. But we work with other sectors also to develop, to transition them to more circular business models. In agribusiness, for example, so we could reach 20%, and in the next years, so with some concessional finance and targeted programs, so we are planning to increase the percentage. In terms of the categories, so this breakdown is based on the EU's circular economy categorization system. In our region, we see most of the investments projects are still on circular value recovery models. That means reuse, recycling, or recovery type of projects. So good news is also we see there are also more projects coming, especially in manufacturing sector with circular design and production models. So we don't see yet many projects. So you see the share is very low for circular optimal use models or hybrid models type of projects. So besides our finance for circular economy projects, we provide technical assistance for circular and bio-based projects. As a multilateral development bank, we are a recipient of funding from international donors. And we use this money to support our client with technical assistance with the ultimate aim of maximizing the green impact of our EBRD investments. And also we help them to structure the projects in a bankable way so they can access to the finance. So the technical assistance support is tailor-made, and we support a wide range of activities. In the case of circular and bio-based project, we do analysis of feedstock availability, assessment of legislative frameworks, barriers, technical risk assessment, innovative technical applications, analysis of the optional technology options, feasibility studies. So yeah, as I said, so we are able to provide wide range of support with technical assistance for project development. And we have also specific program to support the green projects in cities. So we have launched Green Cities program in 2016. So it's a 5 billion framework to support the cities, identify, benchmark, prioritize, and invest in green measures. So far, we have invested almost 3 billion in sustainable infrastructure in cities, and also we mobilized finance from international donors and also other financiers around 5 billion. So our Green Cities program currently covers around 76 million citizens. So what we are doing, so we start with a Green City Action Plan. We help the municipalities to define the areas to make the cities greener. And once the action plan is ready, adopted, so we help them to implement these measures. It could be either with EBRD finance, concessional finance, or mobilized funds. And we also help them to build the capacity in the city administration and also in other stakeholders. And we support them to access to green finance, not only for EBRD finance, also to help them finance the projects from other financiers as well. So the Green Cities program covers not only circular economy. Circular economy is one of the aspects, but we cover wide range of sustainability issues, urban transport like street lighting, climate change resilience, nature-based solutions. In Green Cities Action Plan, so we address all of these aspects based on the cities, municipalities' needs. Yeah, if you go to I think so this is the end of my slides presentation. So you might see, so I have provided you the address for our Green Cities program. You can see all the cities under the program. And if you want, you can get more information if you want to be a part of the program. And we are also happy to engage on other circular or green finance opportunities in our region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ella, for your presentation. A very interesting one. As I said before as well, all this content will be then shared, so don't worry if you don't have time to write them down. And up next, we will be having the CBF, the European Circular Bioeconomy Fund, which is a very particular interesting perspective from our venture capital in this occasion. So I'm going to give the floor to Clara Martinez, which will with pleasure explain us what the ECBF is about and what is the offer that they have for our audience. So Clara, please.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. My name is Clara Martinez. I'm External Relations Manager and also work in the sustainable finance at ECBF. So the European Circular Bioeconomy Fund is 300 million private venture capital fund investing in growth stage companies active in the European bioeconomy. So this is kind of the type of investors that we are. As Antonio mentioned, we are venture capital, so we are privately and commercially oriented. Next, please. Regarding of our goals of investments, so our mission is to catalyze a transition towards sustainable future by investing. Can you click, please? I think it's animated. Yeah. By investing in innovative bio-based ventures. So I can summarize our goal as looking for financial and environmental returns, and how this is aligned with the needs of policymakers of European cities and regions, because our investment strategy is aligned with the different environmental goals and competitiveness goals, let's say, from Europe, which is a great interest for the policymakers at regional level. But instead of providing finance in terms of projects, what we do is support groundbreaking companies, speeding the transition from fossil to bio-based economy. Of course, we prioritize opportunities with circular business models, meaning that we look closely those innovations that facilitate waste valorization or the use of waste streams from organic feedstock, from food or from ag, and they bring more added value products to the markets. As is mentioned in the slide, we also are aligned in terms of our desire of build regional champions, what is called in venture capitalists unicorns, but for us it's more like really being aligned with the competitiveness strategy and the Green Deal and all the environmental goals of the European Commission. Yep, next slide, please. So basically, even though we have this goals in terms of environmental, it's proven that in terms of seeking financial returns, it's proven that the different sectors under the bioeconomy is a multi-billion expected market growth. So we have this interest, and we also recognize business opportunities and investment opportunities in the different sectors. Basically, we cover or we focus on sectors such as bio-based products, with applications in food tech, or with developments in food tech, in ag tech, in biomaterials. For example, in terms of biomaterials, we have companies developing biopackaging, which is not only sourced from renewable resources, but also aim to be biodegradable. And this is kind of the circular aspect that we see in this market. In the food sector, we see a lot of valorization of organic waste streams in order to develop new ingredients for the food and feed, personal care, and also home care market. So it's just to not romanticize our aim to look for sustainable ventures, but this is a real opportunity in terms of financial returns. Next, please. Yes, I borrow this slide from one of the links facilitated by Jonas. So basically, how we complement our financial instrument with the financial instruments mentioned before is, as you can see, the EIB and the EIF focus on companies and other projects. Of course, there are in the different phases of the life cycle of a company. We complement these instruments by investing private equity or equity finance in the phase of early growth and scale up. While EIB, for example, is providing venture debt, we provide equity finance. And I facilitate some of these definitions for those who are not familiar with the financial jargon. So equity finance is provide capital in exchange of shares, meaning that the investor becomes shareholders of a company. That is why the recipient or the focus, the target for us are companies, not consortia, not projects. There are the companies or the scale-ups underlined on this different projects. So legally constituted companies in a growth phase of the life cycle and with positive returns and growth and high growth potential. So in financial terms, we invest in Series A, B, C, or above. Next, please. Yes, how our fund works. So basically, we focus in our geographical focus is investing in companies who are located in the 27 EU countries and the 16 associated countries of the Horizon 2020. UK is considered in Horizon Europe, but since our fund started in 2020, we are just covering those who are in the Horizon 2020. Our investment approach is through syndication. So basically, when a company is raising funds, there is a large round of investment, for example, 20 million. And what we do is to take part of this round together with other stakeholders, shareholders, so other investors, other co-investors. And this round can be complemented with the different financial mechanisms that the other institutions provide. So it could be complemented with EIF funds or EIC funds, and also with EIB loans and grants. And we basically have a ticket of 2 to 5 million in these large rounds, and we don't take more than 50% of the financial round. So if a company is raising 10 million, we can give up to 5 million. Of course, this depends on a very long process of due diligence that it lasts around 2 months, while we collect all the data and analyze all the projects. Yes, please, the next slide. When it comes to the question of what is our ideal target? So talking about projects is not very accurate when we talk about venture capital or equity. The ideal target investment will be a legally constituted company, as I mentioned, who fits in this criteria of geo scope and sector scope that I already mentioned also in the bioeconomy. And with this, what we look in the preferable circular business models, as I mentioned, is valorizing waste or being biodegradable or recyclable. On top of that, we also look at scale-ups who have underlying technology that at least demonstrated in a relevant environment. This is measured through this technological readiness level. When a technology is not in the lab stage and a pilot stage, but is already ready for commercialization. And therefore, we also look for companies who have a clear USP based on this technology or business approach. So they need to present a compelling business plan that demonstrate their commercial traction, also having first revenues or off-taking agreements and partnerships. And for example, in this case, some of the projects led by the cities and regions is very important, because if you have an initiative on procurement, signing off-taking agreements with these funders or with these companies is also part of this demonstration of commercial traction. Besides that, we also look at convincing a scale-up strategy. So how really it will operate, bringing this innovation from a demo plant to a more pre-industrial phase or an industrial phase that allows to scale up or produce more and commercialize more of their products. This needs to be explained in the documentation that the company presents, and also having, of course, a compelling financial planning that demonstrate that returns will come back to the investors. Last but not least, sustainability, of course, we require confirmed contribution on GHG emission savings. Next, please. This is an overview of our current portfolio that can kind of back up what I'm mentioning in terms of the type of targets that we have, the type of companies, but I would like to give some examples with the next slide to highlight this circular business model. So we have a very good example from the Netherlands. Pilpanners is a company that is turning citrus peels that otherwise will be incinerated. And they turn this citrus peel into functional ingredients and fibers. And then they get these revenues from selling these fibers or these high-value ingredients to the food and personal care industries. In this case, for example, this company was founded in 2016. It has a TRL, technological readiness level. of 6 to 7. And we check that the demonstrated savings that they are generating in terms of GHG emissions is 60% compared with a similar technology in the market. In this case, the fact that we don't recycle the citrus peels, it will produce 60% more GHG emissions. Same with Protex. Protex is turning low-grade food waste into valuable high-end insect proteins for the feed industry. So they are taking the food waste, they feed their insects, and they convert this insect into ingredients for the feed industry. Amphistar, for example, replaces fossil-based surfactants. Surfactants is a chemical component normally produced from a fossil-based or palm oil, which have like environmental implications. And this is a chemical component that is very common or very present in the care in detergents and personal care and home care products, because it's kind of creating the binding or having an emulsifying effect on the liquids and solids components, chemical components of these detergents or personal care products. So what this company do is create biosurfactants that are biodegradable and they are waste-based. Next, please. So by replacing the products, the fossil-based products with these biosurfactants, that they are reducing 20% or they are saving 20% of the GHG emissions. So I'm just trying to reflect what I mentioned before in terms of the criteria that we are looking for, like constituted companies in a growth stage. They are already commercializing. They have a business model around valorizing waste or creating recyclable or biodegradable products. Pactic is also a good example in the area of packaging. Flexible packaging. So it preserves, it's a cellulose-based material, but it kind of has a high performance as plastics, and it allows to replace plastics in a flexible packaging. Reduce also is active in the ingredients sector, turning food waste into savory flavor solutions. And Scheme, for example, is using mycelium, which is feed, or the feedstock is waste, organic waste or agri-waste, to feed this mycelium and develop alternative leather or alternative composite materials for interior design. Yes, so these were some couple of examples that I wanted to bring to you, and also to reinforce my message in how this is linked with this initiative and with the cities and regions, because at the end the companies are the pillar of our economies, local economics, regional economies, and you need to bring also this finance to make them to scale up and to make them grow and to bring new job opportunities and to transform the different industries towards a more sustainable way of production. So we actively exchange with different stakeholders. It could be agencies, investment or trade agencies in the different cities, different regions, industrial associations, conference producers that are very focused in the sectors that I mentioned, industrial association, industry players. So we have a very different type of networks that allows us to discover these companies and assess them and finally invest on them, and also discover other peers or investors alike with whom we can bring these resources together and invest in them, in these companies, in the bioeconomy. Yes, we would like to mention that we also organize roadshows in the specific regions, in the specific cities or regions. We can visit 1 or 2 cities, and in these roadshows, what we try to do is identify the short list of companies that have high potential to become an investment target for us, and we have one-on-one conversations to know if there is any possibility to invest on them. I think this is all from my side. I have a last slide of frequent questions, because there are differences between our equity financing instruments versus other type of instruments, and sometimes our European focus is misunderstood as a different type of instruments like grants or loans. So I just wanted to share with you this, but you can consult it later. It's kind of summarize what I have said before. And if you have any question, please don't hesitate to contact me via email. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Clara. First of all, for facilitating and simplifying a little bit the financial jargon, which sometimes we understand is a little bit complex for everyone. So thanks for that, and for providing some very relevant examples of projects, which I think, since we have many cities and regions here, I think most of us can sometimes see some of these projects in our cities as well, and identify some potential opportunities for the future. So last but not least, of course, before jumping into the Q&A session that we'll be having right after, please, Andrea Tenzoni from Cariplo Factory. Now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Antonio. Good morning, everyone. I first of all apologize in advance for not having my video on. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling well last night. My little daughter passed me the flu and on me and other stuff. So, as you may hear from my voice, I'm not feeling particularly well today. But I really wanted to be here with you today to tell you a bit more about Cariplo Factory and our acceleration programs. First of all, I'm Andrea. I work in Cariplo Factory as investment and portfolio manager since 2022. I'll try to give you a quite comprehensive overview on Cariplo Factory's activities and in particular on one of our acceleration programs, which is TerraNext, on the vertical of the bioeconomy. So who we are? Cariplo Factory is a catalyst for innovation. Is an Italian company operating at the intersection of corporations and startups. Is established since 2016 by Fondazione Cariplo, which is one of the largest and most influential banking foundations in Italy and Europe. Since our inception, we have supported over 50 corporations and more than 280 startups through more than 40 open innovation initiatives and acceleration programs. We have facilitated collaborations between startups and major national and multinational corporations, including such as, for example, Terna, Eni, Enel, Fastweb, and Snam. And we also engage with international VCs and business angel networks. Our approach, as you can see from this slide, is built on three key pillars. The first one is the corporate innovation. So we help businesses to integrate cutting-edge technologies and to foster the culture of innovation. The second one is the startup acceleration. So we provide mentorship, funding opportunities, and strategic partnership for high potential startups. And the third one is community innovation. So we support organizations to drive social and environmental impact through dedicated initiatives that can promote inclusivity and sustainability. On the acceleration side, which is one of our key pillars, we have an extensive track record, I would say, with more than 20 acceleration programs managed, both nationally and internationally. The main programs we are currently managing are in particular TerraNext and Frontech. TerraNext is the acceleration program I want to tell you more in a while, because it's vertical on the topics we are discussing today. Frontech is an acceleration program vertical on AI, Web 3.0 and blockchain, while Berkeley Skydeck Europe is an international accelerator. We started this initiative in 2022, and we partner directly with the accelerator of the Berkeley University of California. This latest one is a sector agnostic acceleration program, and we run basically 2 batches per year, and right now we have more than 54 startups in our portfolio. As mentioned, one of our most prominent program is TerraNext, is dedicated to startups in the bioeconomy sector. We launched the first batch in 2022, and TerraNext is part of the National Accelerator Network, Italian National Accelerator Network, promoted by Cassa Depositi e Prestiti Venture Capital, in collaboration with some important partners such as Intesa San Paolo. And the program is a focus on startups developing a sustainable bio-based solution across 3 main sectors, which are nutraceuticals, bio-based materials, and regenerative agriculture. I would say TerraNext is a one-of-a-kind initiative in Europe, because it's tried to create a strong link between research, industry, and innovation to accelerate the transition, toward a circular bioeconomy. So we run 1 batch per year, basically, and we select up to 10 startups. The program lasts 4 months. In a while, I'll tell you more about the program. And basically, we also invest in the 10 startups, up to 10 startups we select and we accelerate. We invest up to 110k euros as the first acceleration ticket. And we can also invest in a following investment round, up to 250k euros. Right now, we run three batches. Sorry, there are the agendas are in Italian. Sorry. We have right now 22 startups. As you can see, we have 9 startups in nutraceuticals, 10 startups related to biomaterials and circular economy initiatives, while 3 startups are on agritech and regenerative agriculture. What are we looking for? So basically, we are, I would say, at the beginning of the chain, also following what my previous colleagues have explained. So we are an acceleration program, and we are looking for startups which are incorporated or in the process of being established in Europe, or willing to set up a branch or a company in Italy. The startup must have a minimum viable product with a technology readiness level of 4. Must have a highly skilled team and a fully dedicated team. At least the co-founders must be fully dedicated on the project. Must have raised between 0 and 500k in previous investments. So we are basically targeting startups in the pre-seed and seed stage. Next, okay. In terms of focus areas, we are looking for startups operating in 3 key areas, as I was mentioning before. The first one is integrated nutraceuticals. So it means sorry, my voice is leaving me. It means startups which are developing new formulation methods and innovation ingredients, or creating functional food products for human and animals well-being, or advancing personalized nutrition as a form of preventive healthcare. The second pillar is related to circular and bio-based materials, for example, innovating in primary and secondary packaging, or enhancing recyclability and developing advanced biomaterials, or creating circular solution for industrial applications through waste valorization. The third one, the third area is regenerative agriculture. For example, we can have startups improving soil quality through data-driven and biotech solutions, or developing smart farming tools, or transforming agricultural waste into valuable resources. So these are only few examples to let you better understand what are we looking for. The program also explores digital solution, AI applications, and nanotechnology for the bioeconomy sector at large. What we offer in terms of program. So we offer a full spectrum of resources to accelerate startup growth. So we offer a strong business and research network. We try to connect startups with major players such as, for example, Nestlé, Novamont, or Garofalo and Jetra, which are corporate partners of the initiative. Proof of concept development. So we facilitate commercial pilot project with corporate partners. So the program also offers expert mentorship and fundraising and investment support. So we try to support our portfolio companies also in the post program activities. In particular, we try to enable the connection with our international investor network in order to help our portfolio companies to raise the seed and the Series A. We also offer. We also have an advisory and talent pool, and last but not least, we have several colleagues specialized in life cycle assessment methodologies. So we help our startups to measure and optimize their environmental impact. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I stop here.
No, and thank you very much, Andrea, for making the additional effort despite your sickness. So thank you very much for being here and being able to present. And yes, so aware of time, we'll be going straight to the open Q&A. We'll do a very quick recap of the questions, as Simo initially asked to Ella on green cities, if it has the same country coverage as the EBRD in general, which indeed Ella answered that it was indeed the same country coverage, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know if Ella, maybe you want to expand a little bit on the question, so feel free.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so because of our agreements, the foundation agreements, we can only invest in the countries that it is in the list. So any city that we will cover with green cities should be one of the countries we are investing in.
Thank you. I hope that even clarifies better the question. And then Vanessa from Munich, if I'm not mistaken, issued a question to Clara, but I think it might also be relevant to issue it to Andrea from Cariplo. She's wondering whether usually your investments focus on companies or whether public-private partnership can also be considered in this framework.
Andrea, would you like to add?
Yes. I was reading the question. So our focus. I don't know if I understood well the question from Simo. If you want to add, please. Help.
From Vanessa will be first, Andrea.
Vanessa. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, on the possible public-private partnership in your investments.
Yeah, we can evaluate. We also can try to create and work on this kind of partnership. For sure, our main interest is to create value and to allow our portfolio companies to grow. And this can pass through several activities and several things, such as also this kind of initiatives. So my answer is yes.
Great.
And just to complement, in our case, I think it depends. I like to emphasize this ownership stake of a company. So if the private public partnership takes the form of a joint venture, which normally leads to a legal structure, like limited liability companies or this legally constituted company, then we can provide this type of financing. Otherwise, if the PPP takes keep the form of a consortia or more like an informal partnership, then I think a project finance is more accurate for this type of projects. And I think there was described by Jonas in one of his slides.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Clara. And now, Andrea, sorry, the question that you were actually reading from Simon, which was wondering, well, first of all, recognizing the very interesting nature of Cariplo, but in particular, he was wondering where the initial capital of the company was coming from, whether it was from public or from private sources.
From Cariplo Factory, the nature of the company is private. So the sole owner and shareholder of the company right now is Fondazione Cariplo, which is a private foundation.
All right. Thank you very much, Andrea. I will open the floor to anyone who would like to echo or voice their questions openly through the microphone, or also if they would like to do it in the chat. So I'll give you around 30 seconds if you would like to issue any of these questions. And in the meanwhile, the only question that I would have to our participants here, since probably most of your presentations have tackled on a more general sense what the sectors that you usually address, we will be wondering in particular for those policymakers that we have in the room, which are the sectors you are currently, so in this very moment, trying to look into. For instance, I know from the venture capital side that sometimes, although you may have this idea of a sector, sometimes your investments in particular months of the year might shift considering other priorities. But yeah, just maybe knowing what are the main focuses for in your different entities when it comes to sector focus.
Yes, maybe I can start. Yes, you are absolutely right, Antonio. This I think the industry verticals don't vary that much because it's part of the investment thesis, and the investment thesis is proposed at the beginning of the structuring of the fund to our LPs, limited partners, who are the investors who invest in this type of venture capital funds. So they don't vary, but you're right that the prioritization of sub-segments could vary according to market conditions also. So in some years, some markets are doing better than others, and there are more opportunities than others, and that this can shift. In our case, our 4 industry verticals is agtech, including blue economy and forestry, food tech, including nutrition, nutraceuticals, as Andrea also mentioned in his speech, bio-based materials, focusing in packaging and construction, so I can emphasize there, and also textiles, if they are bio-based textiles, and industrial biotech. And in terms of sub-segments, for example, in agtech, we look at crop tech, animal agtech, digital agtech, so robotic sensors, AI. So it's also in line with how the market is evolving now with all these digital technologies. Algae technologies, like and the area of aquaculture is also evolving. So this could be a focus that we have at the moment. I can give an example of deprioritization. Vertical farming, for example, is a sector that is part of the bioeconomy, is part of the agtech, but given the high the energy intensity of this sector, then it may not, in some cases, not compensate the GHG emissions that we are aiming to save. Mm-hmm. And also it could impact the techno-economics of the company if we are in a geopolitical situations like the last 2 years where the energy costs are increasing. So this just to give an example. In food tech, we have focus in nutraceuticals, also in alternative proteins, maybe with a less emphasis in meat alternatives, but with dairy products, it's a very interesting field. Functional ingredients, food traceability, food waste valorization. In materials, biopackaging is a great emphasis, trying to check opportunities where the bio alternatives can meet the high performance of plastics. This is kind of the main challenge there, and what we are looking for in terms of innovation. And industrial biotech, we see, bio-based chemicals, bio-based textiles, this is more or less more stable, let's say, like the sub-segments. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Clara. I don't know if Ella or Jonas would like to complement this question on sectors, if you'd like to.
Maybe very shortly. So yeah, we are sector agnostic, so we are supporting every sector. But as a development bank, if we see a certain market barrier in a sector, so we try to address it with specific programs, concession loans, or some maybe policy dialogue activities. In my slides, as you have seen, so we don't see much transition in some sectors. So we are trying to support those sectors with targeted instruments like blended concessional finance or grants, in case if we see some sector is lagging behind the others. Thank you.
Thank you. Jonas, please.
Yeah, very, very briefly, since we are a bit over time. I think there was a slide in my early part of the presentation indicated in the last 5 years we have financed projects in, I think, 6 different large and circularly relevant sectors, and quite a wide range of projects, types of promoters, stages, and also sizes. And as I indicated, when we do these large investment loans, we also, through the framework loans, can, in investment programs, also cover very small investments, which we also do through intermediaries. So quite a wide range, and an openness and willingness and interest to adapt where we are going into new territory and see new financing challenges.
Thank you very much, Jonas. And before closing up the workshop and handing it over to my colleague Andrea, I would also like to stress that don't worry, that we will be having all the minutes with the discussions that we've had during this workshop, as well as the slides. the workshop will be available on YouTube, as we mentioned. We will also be sending the recording to you. And essentially, I think the key for us here was sort of allowing a platform to let you know which are the faces behind these funding sources that can help your projects and the overall city or region to scale up when it comes to circularity. And I think that now that we have the content is, of course, feel free to reach out to all of them, because in the end, what we want to create here is a sort of connection between our cities and regions and our projects as well, which I've seen some that are here, and of course the investment offer that we have presented today. So thank you to all of you, and I'll be handing in to Andrea right now just to the closing remarks.
Thank you. Really less than 2 minutes, but I guess it's important to wrap up supersonically on 3 points. One, you see that we structured this event on purpose, a little bit blurry between advisory, innovation, and investment, because that's exactly what is happening now in the CCRI community and beyond, to say, okay, I'm a policymaker, I'm project promoter, I need to innovate, I need help, advisory, technical, financial, juridical advisory for going where? For going towards investment. And that's the message number one. If you have to implement a project, a circular economy project, of course, it's better that you know, or as soon as possible, the funding, but also financing opportunity available there. And if you need advisory, it's even more important if you know what are the financial opportunity and the funding opportunity, because you can tune and have very effectively this advisory to help you to go towards the final aim. It's not the final aim. The final aim is increasing circularity, but you need something to do it, and this something can be a real investment. The second point is to understand a little bit the investment, also the advisory facility that we have. Compass in the website of the CCRI, there is this compass to see a little bit what the advisory schemes, what the support facility of the CCRI can help you on what, but also the map, which is another tool that we created last year, is really helps you to understand who are the CCRI stakeholders. There is a city, there is a region in your member state, for example, or you know what a certain innovation project is doing, which sector is addressing, which industry is involving, which city is involving. So on what we do, Compass, and on where we are, these are the two instruments that please have a look. And the last point, really to finish on, not on time, at least to 12:15, is really thank you. We will share the presentation, I assume. And if you have any question, we have a help desk in the CCRI, so please don't hesitate to get back to us. And many thanks for everyone. And thanks, Antonio. Well done.
No. Thanks to all of you for coming. And yeah, see you next time. As Andrea mentioned, we'll be sharing with you all the material that you need. And if you have any question, of course, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Have a great lunch and see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
So.
Bye.